Welcome to G3, Games, Gadgets, and Guests, an audio and video podcast by 702 Communications. I'm your host, Brian Cromit. We've got a gadget episode for you today, and no, I know you don't see any gadgets, but we have a lamp. It's not really about lamps. We decided we wanted to talk a little bit about home automation. And there's a lot of home automation products out there, but we decided really something that everybody uses and everybody might be interested in would be light. So we're all familiar with lamps and lights, and they do this and they've done that for forever. But we went out there and we did some looking, and we figured we'd find some lamps or some lights that would turn off and turn on with your smartphone or whatever. But we were excited to find a light that does that. Okay, we can get it to turn off and turn on with our smartphone, but we can get it to do a little bit more than that. So we picked up the Lifx Color 100 bulb. And there were a couple different things that were attractive to us about this bulb. One of them was, if you remember, in my very first podcast all the way back last year, I talked about how I had an Amazon Echo in my house, and so I was looking for things that might integrate with that. And this bulb, interestingly enough, doesn't need any sort of hub or any other device to integrate with the Echo. So I was interested in that. Because, like a lot of things, when you get into a new technology, if you throw in with this company, and you maybe have a couple other choices, you throw in with this company, maybe a couple months later, you find out that the other companies may have been a better choice for you. So I was really interested to look at something that had integration all by itself. So we went out and we picked up this bulb. There are a lot of really good things about this bulb. So we got it, and the instructions were really easy. Right on the back of the box, it says easy setup, intuitive controls, and millions of colors. So that was interesting. So we plugged it in, loaded up the app on my iPhone, and within a couple minutes, it was on. So I'm going to show you just a couple things about how that interface looks. Let me pull that up right here. So once you go through the original setup, we've got it going here. You're gonna end up on a screen like this, and right now you can see that we've got the color set at 3500K neutral and 100%. So if all you have in your house is this bulb and your app, you can turn off the light, turn on the light. One of the first things I actually did was I set this up in my living room on one side of the TV and one lamp, and I've got another lamp on the other side. And so the very first thing I did was I color matched the whites of the lights. So if I decided that the lights I had were a little more yellow, I can turn it a little more yellow. If I was more in a blue, turn it to a little bit more blue. And if you decided that you want to just bring the light down, you just scroll the light down. So really a nice and easy light there to use. But then, of course, you got to get into what else does it do, right? So we've also got a whole color wheel over here. So if you decide you want it to be red, right now it's color red, and you just click it. One thing I did notice, though, is when you've got the light up at 100% brightness, you're not going to see much of the color. So you really got to bring that down to, I'd say, 50% or more to really see the color in that light. But you can get it to switch then to really whatever color you want. So, again, that's kind of neat. If you want to figure out how to set a mood or something for whatever you've got going on there, that's kind of cool. They've also got these themes. So if you don't want to pick your color, you can pick a specific theme. So we can pick a peaceful theme, and it's going to set it to a color and a brightness. And there's really one for every mood. So you can just click around here and decide, what best suits you, what best suits your mood for that. And then lastly, they do have a couple other interesting things. If you decide you really want your light to flicker like a candle, I'm not sure that's really what a candle does, but that's what that one does. Or if you really can't pick between a color, It will slowly go through colors, and I can't imagine using that one either, but it does it. Spooky, and if you really want, you can. There is a strobe function that I won't show you. Yeah, okay. So if you're gonna throw a rave or something at home and you really need a strobe light, this bulb's for you. So there are some really good things again about this light. There are some things that I'm not sure that I'm really sold on about it either. Number one, if you're just going to start playing around with this bulb, it is a $50 light bulb. Okay, so there is a little bit of $60 light bulb, 50, 60, depending on where you get it. So there are some interesting things that we can do with the bulb, and so our list of pros is I think is a pretty solid list, but there are some cons. There are some barriers to entry on a bulb like this. I guess the first and biggest one is that there is a significant cost to getting into this, especially if you're a one light bulb household. You can spend $60 on this bulb, and that's what they cost. But when I looked at getting it actually set up in my living room, we've got 5 light bulbs in there in 5 different lamps, and if I want them to all tie in and all really work together, that's an awful lot of money to light one room. But if you're just going to run it on one lamp or whatever, I think that you can get in there, and you don't need to buy a hub. So this runs all on its own. So that's good in and of itself. The other thing though is that's interesting about it is it is 75 watt equivalent on this bulb, and it only draws 11 watts. So its estimated yearly energy cost is $1.32. So you're gonna, just like any LED bulb, we know that we're gonna save some money over other lighting types. So there again, I just hopped back to a pro. But the other con that we might have here is that even though the bulb says that with 3 or more hours of use, or around 3 hours of use a day, you can expect this bulb to last for about 23 years. And if it does, that $50 cost isn't much. But there's only 2 years warranty on this bulb. So if something does go wrong within a couple years, you're out that money. So, all in all, it's an interesting light bulb. It's a good light bulb. I'm still not entirely sure that I need to fill a room with them. But I am glad that I've got one at my house that I can play with and try to figure out. There are some other options though, right? If you want to get into home automation just a little bit, you can. And you decide you don't want to do all of the fancy colors and all of that, you can move into something like the Insight Switch. Okay, this too. I was interested in this switch because it also ties directly in with the Echo. You don't need any other sort of hub for that, and there are some interesting things about this switch. Okay, if you've got your lights and you're never going to go for a $50, $60 bulb, but you want to add yourself just a little bit of automation here, we can do that with the WeMo Insight Switch. I have actually been running this Lifx bulb through this Insight Switch the whole time. And so you can see I've got... I actually went out and bought a second one of these after I tried this. So I've got one set here at home, and then the other one is set up to this lamp, so I can just click and shut off the light here. And so this is going to work whether you've got this fancy Lifx bulb, and I'm going to go ahead and take that bulb out right here to show you that I'm not making it up. And we can just plug in this old incandescent light. I did still have one at home. And we can still then click the button and turn on the lamp. So there are a couple things that the WeMo does give you that the Lifx didn't. If we scroll down here, if we open this up, we can see some interesting stats on this. The light here, you can tell, has been on now for 20 seconds since I turned it back on. It will estimate a monthly cost based on the watts that it's drawing. And I didn't show you, I mentioned that this bulb was drawing 11 watts. We can see real time that this old incandescent bulb is drawing 59 watts. So if you need some help justifying that to yourself, the cost estimated monthly will be here. And so if we plug in the Lifx again, you can see the difference. You can also set up rules with this switch that you couldn't with the Lifx. So if you want to put your lights on a timer, you can put your lights on a timer. If you want to go in and automate an away mode, you can do that. And you can also get different notifications from your WeMo switch based on different criteria. And then the other thing that you can do with this is you can get it to send you automated reports if you want. That's a little bit more cumbersome to get through the menu to do that, but then you can set it up and you can actually be tracking over the long time your usage. So again, there are some things with this Belkin that are interesting in a different way than this one. The other thing that's nice about this Insight Switch is if you don't care a bit about turning off and on your lights, but you want to have something like, say, for instance, you are a person who always forgets whether or not you turn the iron off in the morning. If you plug your iron into one of these, and you're in the car and you get to work and you think, did I turn the iron off? You can look, and you're going to be able to bring this up right now, and it's going to tell you if it's on or not. And if it's on, you just go ahead and shut it off, and it takes care of it. So I think that's really the argument for going with an Insight Switch as an entry to home automation, is that if you're not sure where you want to make that entry into home automation, you can plug a lot of things into this, and you can try it out, make some decisions based on, well, you can just make your own decisions on what might be most useful for you to be running this off of. If you are thinking about ways that you're going to want to try to reduce some of your energy consumption, you can plug this into, or plug any number of devices into this and monitor usage and find out, what are the big energy drainers in your house. Then again, if you really want that, full control of your full color spectrum of your lights and think it's really cool to, put together a color theme in your room, you're going to need to get into a light bulb as well. So you might end up needing both. And home automation, just in the little bit of research that we've done and a little bit of looking around and playing around that we've done, we can definitely get into spending a lot of money on home automation, but it's, I had my kids in the room when I first plugged this in, and I first started, turning it off and turning it on and changing colors with it. And it really is something amazing. And I know it's not new, but until you actually see it work, you really don't appreciate how cool that can be. So bottom line is, if you want to get into home automation, I think these are both solid first products to get into. There are lots more out there, and I'm sure be testing a lot more of them in the coming months. But either one of these, I think, would be a solid choice. And that's it for this gadget episode. Thank you for joining us. We are going to be back in the coming weeks with some more gaming episodes, some more guest episodes, so make sure you check all of them out. Again, follow us on YouTube, follow us on SoundCloud, in the iOS store, and Stitcher. We're everywhere, and we'd love to see you subscribe. So until next time, I'm Brian Cromit. This is G3. Game on.